Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So Anthony Joshua, we know last year he signed a deal with DAZN that would basically carry him out to the end of his career. We know it's a 5-year deal. It's a pretty unique deal because it's not just, saying, all right, we're going to give you X amount of money for, a couple of fights a year. It's actually giving them an opportunity to get a stake in the company and to go on after boxing and actually be in partnership with them. So this is a long-term thing. So he's going to be involved not just in broadcasting, what we see a lot of fighters do. He's going to be doing some things behind the scenes to help grow DAZN in all aspects and areas, other than boxing. So Anthony Joshua, I think what he did here was very strategic, and we know that he's a very one of the most influential sportsmen, at this time, and I think that's going to continue. But the thing is, right, when you first look at it, right, when you talk about this multi-year deal that he signs, I want to make sure people understand where Anthony Joshua is talking about fighting 4 times a year, right? Listen, he signed a multi-year deal for at least 2 fights a year. Now, this is the thing about it, right? He had his first fight of the deal against Usyk in Saudi Arabia. Now, this long-term deal is supposedly worth in excess of 175 million US or 100 million pounds. But this is what got my attention because I said, okay, this man, 175 million, over, 5 years, and you try to figure 2 fights a year. Hell, that's not really a lot of money, if you figure he's getting the kind of money. You figure if they're going to give him 25 million a fight, 50 million for 2 fights a year, so that's 50 million. Next year is 100 million. Damn, so after 3 years, you're 25, 50, 2 years is 100. 4 years is 200. So after 4 years, they'll be beyond $175 million, right? But those numbers don't quite work out because in his first fight deal against Usyk, right, where they fought in Saudi Arabia, Joshua and Usyk, they shared a pot of over 100 million pounds. That's crazy. So when you just look at the fact that Joshua and Usyk shared a pot of money for one fight, over 100 million pounds. So what this tells me is with Anthony Joshua and this multi-year deal, although we see that number out there, 175 million, US or 100 million pounds, right? Anthony Joshua more than likely is going to end up making over $1 billion, maybe even a little bit more by the time he's finished fighting. And I don't know if Anthony Joshua is really going to be able to pull it off to fight 4 times a year when he has a 5-year deal in place with DAZN. Could you imagine him trying to fight 4 times 1 year and then going to the next year and just looking to fight 1 time? You know how burnout he can be? Can you imagine just trying to get the motivation after fighting 4 times as a heavyweight and then to go on to the next year and just to try to fight 1 time? Let's be real. If Anthony Joshua was to fight 4 fights, okay? Let's just say he was to fight Wilder. Let's just say he was to fight Fury. Let's just say he went and he fought Luis Ortiz. He's fighting Jermaine Franklin. Let's just stop right there, right? Let's say he fought, and then Andy Ruiz. That's 5, right? I mean, really, after those names, shit, Franklin's not even a big name. But really, Luis Ortiz, Andy Ruiz, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder, outside of that, what's there for him? So you see, Anthony Joshua is going to be fighting for a while. That means we're going to see the kind of the changing of the thrones here, because he's going to basically, in my opinion, just have some hungry young lion come in and just take his position and probably just beat him into retirement. But he's going to fight for those 5 years. Now, and that's him. He said he's all about the money. So that's him. But I don't really like the fact that Anthony Joshua has committed to that kind of deal. But I also understand sometimes you commit to things to make sure you do it, because if not, you wouldn't do it. For example, before I retired, I remember there were opportunities. Once you get to a certain position, people want you to come and do some public speaking or be the narrator for different events, right? Or the MC. And I was like, man, I used to avoid those tasks all the time. I'm like, do not assign that shit to me. I don't want to get up here and have to be the MC for a graduation, for an event, and I got 50 to 1,000 people that I'm sitting up here, man, at this podium, and I'm being the MC and I'm reading all these different scripts and stuff like that. But long story short, one day I said, you know what, if I'm going to go on and I want to continue to be successful, I got to work on public speaking. And so I volunteered to do it. It was a change of command event. And once I volunteered, man, I was trying to get out of it. And they laughed at me, like the leadership laughed and laughed. They're like, you'll be fine. But I just envisioned myself getting up there in front of all these people and freezing. So long story short, I did it. Wasn't that bad. I didn't die. And I did a lot more. So I said that just to come back here to Anthony Joshua. That's probably why he committed to it, because he knows he can't get out of it. And he signed that contract because he wants to be a billionaire. He's on his way, and I'm sure in the next 5 years he will be a billionaire. But my question is his health. How's he going to be health-wise? Because he's going to be fighting 5 years of hard fights as a heavyweight. That takes a toll on your body. And also, 5 years fighting heavyweights, training out of Dallas, Texas, going back and forth between there and the UK. Is he going to set up shop in the US? I mean, that's the direction this may have to go, unless he's just going to find another trainer. But the real thing I want to foot stomp here, right, is with Anthony Joshua. And in addition to him being just a world-class fighter, entrepreneur, businessman, and the fact that he believes in himself and he's all about business strategy, right, is with Anthony Joshua. See, Eddie Hearn's smart. DAZN's smart. And Anthony Joshua knows that, basically they can call it a partnership, right? But he's using them, they're using him. You know what I'm saying? Eddie Hearn's using them. All these guys are using each other. So it is what it is. But, it's part of business. You want something from me, I want something from you. Okay, let's kind of meet in the middle and everyone's happy. For the next 5 years, they know with Anthony Joshua, if he can keep winning and he can keep his profile at the height that it is right now, Anthony Joshua will always have very good pay-per-view numbers. He will always attract subscribers. And I think Anthony Joshua helps to stabilize at least the boxing portion, or that slice of the pie that boxing covers. That market, Joshua helps to stabilize that for the next 5 years. So when you look at that move that DAZN made, I think because they had to do it. Because in the next 5 years, when it comes to DAZN and the fighters that have helped to stabilize it, I mean, Canelo, maybe. They paid him a bunch of money. Triple G, maybe. Not so sure. But outside of, forget Triple G, right? Outside of Canelo, it's Anthony Joshua. And Canelo's not going to be around. Canelo bounces around wherever he can get the most money. He's not loyal to anyone. He's all about himself. And that Canelo knows. They're going to use me, so I want to get paid. Payday, payday. So they were able to, convince Anthony Joshua on taking the deal. But man, let me tell you something. I'm glad that Anthony Joshua is doing something that he feels is going to turn out long term to be a good decision. Because look, DAZN, by signing this deal, it's not just for the fights. They were able to expand their existing relationship with Joshua to have him into this partnership, man. So now he's become a shareholder. He's a special advisor. He's a brand ambassador for the business. And the thing is, as a special advisor, it's something that he gets to do now that he signed the contract. Joshua will join DAZN's strategic advisory board as the business develops its global boxing offering by providing a richer and more immersive experience for its customers. So, see, Anthony Joshua is looking long term. So he wants to stay involved with boxing, and he wants to make sure that the efforts he's contributing, he's doing that to help grow DAZN and to continue to try to expand that boxing element. But that being said, Eddie Hearn has big plans for AJ. But don't just look at the fact that he's got $100 million, signed a deal for 100 million pounds, or 175 million US, right? Let me tell you something. For the fights that Anthony Joshua is fighting, he's making more than like 25 million. This man's making like $40 to $50 million a fight. And he's gonna be fighting over the next 5 years. And he's guaranteed at least 2 fights a year. Anthony Joshua's on his way, man. Anthony Joshua's on his way to making real money, being a billionaire, and then going on after that, and again, being a shareholder in DAZN. So say what you want. I'm just glad that he knows what direction that he's going to be going in the future, man. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad deal. I do kind of feel like he's kind of locked in, and I would have, but he's a loyal guy and they've taken care of him. But I would have liked to see just how it would have been if he would do like Canelo. Yeah, I'll take a 2-3 fight deal here. Go see what PBC can offer me. Maybe I'll take a 2-3 fight deal there. Make a few, a couple $100 million. Then maybe I'll go over by Golden Boy, take a 1 fight deal there. Send them into bankruptcy. I would like to see him bounce around and really make serious dough. But at the end of the day, where he's at, he's safe. He's going to get paid. He's the flagship over there, and it is what it is. But Anthony Joshua, man, I think I see the decision he made to sign that long-term deal. I see it a little differently now. I do. But I do understand that when it comes to him and that long partnership, the key is long and successful, right? We need to understand successful. That means AJ has to keep winning. And people, I'm telling you right now, don't be surprised if you see AJ, fighting some fighters that maybe you don't think he should be fighting. Because he has to maintain a successful partnership, and he needs to win. But that being said, we can go even more in depth about Anthony Joshua and DAZN. But sometimes, man, we just don't have the attention span for more than 3 minutes. But I'm at 14, so I'm gonna kill it. But that being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. Y'all keep cool. Enjoy your weekend, and I'm in the breeze.